I wanna ride with you. Always something special to remember. Every time we take a journey.
I'm Veronica, Imaginovator and host, and welcome to the Shaboo Prince Artist Studio, where we'll play hard and embark on your new Odyssey.
It's an inward journey of discovery using your enlivened sense of wonder. Each episode will offer you surprising experiences for deeper imagination and creativity to occur. This is your safe playground where you will discover and liberate your creative originality. Come on in and let's ride.
I wanna ride with you.
Hiya, it's Veronica, and this is your new Odyssey. Welcome to the Shaboo Artist Studio. This is our fun time. This is a half hour for just you and me alone to play in this virtual sandbox where it's safe, with no other eyes on us, no judgment, so we can safely explore the boundaries of your imagination and then stretch the boundaries of your imagination and talk about the resistance you might have with your mind and the expansion of your imagination. And imagination can be used for so many things. We talk about the practicality of it. For instance, it's used to design your what's next. What's your what's next? What's ahead for you? And how do you feel when I ask that question? Well, how you feel when I ask about what's next is a good gauge on whether or not you're using a lot of your imagination and creativity.
Hiya, I'm your assistant, Imaginovator Veronica, and I will help you get the most out of your new Odyssey, a program unlike anything you've ever seen before. Each episode is a grab bag of various creativity experiences and activities that will get you thinking in new ways and increase your curiosity for your imagination and creative self-expression. All you have to do is sit back, have an open mind, and watch. And I guarantee you will get something good for yourself out of the next half hour.
Yeah, so how do you feel when I ask you what's next for you? What's ahead? And how do you feel when I say the best years are yet to come? Do you say, yeah, right, or I hope so, or yes? Well, how you respond emotionally to your what's next, to your what's ahead, to your future, says a lot about where you're at with your imagination and creativity. Because I guarantee the more imaginative and creative you become, you can't help but be more optimistic for what's ahead. I am excited for my life, for what's ahead. And the more I expand as a creative person, the more excited I get. Because when you are playing more with your heart, which is imagination, creativity, you enter what I call more of a discovery mode. You are curious about what's ahead. Essentially, when you are accessing your heart to access your imagination and creativity, you're kind of going back to the youthful perspective you had as a child. And children love what's ahead. You see a lot of children will run into a room and go into the corners of the room to explore. There's a sense of discovery and wonder and magic and awe in children that many of us are born with, but gets changed somehow in the adulting process. And so that world, that magical world that we experienced as children is still there. But the way we access it is through our imagination and creativity. And so if you're feeling your what next is not that great, or you are concerned about the unknown of it, well, simply access more of your imagination and creativity. Keep coming back here to expand into it. And then you'll be more excited about the void of the unknown and what's ahead than not. But your what's next, I guarantee, will be more exciting and filled with more energy. You'll have more energy and enthusiasm for it if you keep coming back here to simply expand your imagination and creativity, because it guarantees that your best years are always, always ahead. Think about that.
Remember how open you were as a child? How excited you were for the possibilities you imagined? If you notice, most children are energized for their day, and adults can be too. How energized you are for what's next can indicate how much you use creativity. If you feel worried, stressed, and low energy about what's next, being here in your new Odyssey each week will help, and here's why. Creativity requires heart intelligence, and the more you open your heart, the more energized and positive you become. Creativity is entrepreneurial. It keeps you in discovery mode to develop new things. Creativity energizes your outlook because you view what's ahead as opportunity and improves your sense of sovereignty. You are not letting what's next happen to you, you are creating it from the driver's seat. I hope you can see how more creativity will make what's next in your life amazing. So keep returning here to your new Odyssey, where we will help remind you that the best is always yet to come.
Let's now awaken your heart with an introspective question. Notice any resistance you may feel or messages from the mind that may keep you from your deeper knowing. Let your heart respond. Your heart never lies.
Yeah. So how you feel about what's next or what's ahead says a lot about your current state of imagination and creativity, because if you have more of it, you kind of get more excited about what's next. And here's the great thing about our perspective on what's next or what's ahead is that we can change that. We have control of that. And that's the beauty of imagination, is that we can change our perspective, expand our perspective so that it doesn't feel so dead-ended, right? That's important. And so coming back here frequently to all of our really fun exercises and experiences help you do that. They're very valuable and they're very powerful in doing that. So if you find yourself responding to what's next or what's ahead with a little bit of trepidation, or you're not so sure, or it feels heavy, we can work on that. So that's why I'm so glad you're here. We can shift the perspective that we have, but it does take a mindfulness, a new kind of mindfulness of what your perspective is and where you're at in your perspective, so that then you can change it. And all that comes with stretching your imagination and creativity, accessing your heart intelligence. It's your mind and your mental intelligence that will say, don't change, go back to what's familiar. It's a great police officer. But if you really want to evolve and develop something that's next for you, that's really exciting and fulfilling, it's going to take a lot of heart. So I'm glad you keep coming back here. And so there's some really great exercises that I'm excited to unveil this week for you. There's two new ones. One's called Incognito, and the other is First Time, Last Time. And they're both designed to illustrate the power that you have on your perspective if you use more of your imagination and creativity. And so there are two great experiences that will help you play in your perspective and your position in your context of perspective, where you're at, where you see yourself in the world that you envision. And we play on that, and also the play on your perspective and value on things and how you see things. All of this to help you better design your what's next and what's ahead, and make it positive and hopeful and full of more magic It's excited. I'm excited for you, and I'm really excited to unveil these next two fun experiences for you called Incognito and First Time Last Time.
Incognito is a fun game that uses your far out imagination to reveal what we cannot see. First, we will randomly select an image of something that obscures something else. Ah, this one is perfect. A wall is typically built to fence in or out something. Let us imagine that we are outside of the wall, wondering what is inside of the wall. Use this exercise to imaginatively reveal what this object may conceal. I will help turn on your super imagination with a few examples of what may exist on the inside of this wall. Is there a building, or an open field, or a garden on the other side of this wall? Could there be objects, or animals? What sounds might you hear coming from the other side? Do not let your mind judge whatever it is you imagine. This space is best explored using your heart. I think you're ready. For the next minute, imagine what's on the inside of this wall. Notice how real your imagination can make things. Now, let's open an entirely new reality using the same image by changing your perspective. Let's imagine you are now on the inside of this wall, wondering what is on the outside. For the next minute, use this new perspective and your super imagination to create what is on the outside of this wall. Thank you for lifting the curtain of incognito to reveal a life that is much bigger than we think. First time, last time is a fun and easy way to get wonder and inspiration from the everyday. Here's something we are very familiar with. Let's pretend that you've never seen this object before, and that one fine day it was dropped by a ship from outer space. Look at this as if for the first time. Practice viewing it through the eyes of your youthful, creative genius self. Imagine that you don't know what it's for, how it's used, or what it's called. Carefully consider its shape, how it might feel in your hand, and why it might look like that. For the next minute, leave practicality at the door and imagine ways your youthful self might use this strange item. Have fun.
Isn't it fun refreshing your outlook? It's key to being creative.
Now look at it through the eyes of your current adult self. You know this item well and what to do with it. You are very familiar with it. Remember how you've used it over the years for yourself and your family. Let's pretend that it will be removed from the entire planet. Not one more of these will remain, and they will forever be gone, never to be seen, touched, or used again ever. Take 1 minute to say thank you and goodbye to this amazing item before it disappears for eternity. If you want more wonder and inspiration in your life, play this fun first time, last time game every day.
How'd you like that, huh? Pretty cool, I hope so. Yeah, we're gonna keep developing more and more fun experiences and exercises to stretch and play with your perspective and imagination, to show you the power that you have on changing and creating reality and where you're at. And that's the whole thing. You are never the victim. You are always, always in control of your life and how you see it. And so if you realize that this is your power, then you get to choose more on how you see it. And you can still choose to feel dead-ended if you want. But I don't think that would be the case if you realize you really have options on how you view your what's next. So for instance, in Incognito, I thought it was interesting to shift perspectives and play on wherever you're at and how you imagine how it affects the realities that you see. So we placed you in different places in that perspective and how that impacts you. So next time you're in an environment that maybe you don't feel so great about, you can change that in how you perceive it and how you see yourself in that context. And that's something. But it does require you accessing your other intelligence, your heart intelligence, right? Rather than your mind that says, this is how it is, don't explore beyond that. Interesting. Very powerful. You're very powerful. And then, of course, first time, last time was a lot of fun on playing our perspective and how we perceive value of everything around us, even as simple as a hair comb, and how we can then see more magic if we choose. Everything is magical. Everything is its own world, even a hair comb. So I hope you enjoyed those. We're going to keep designing more. I love your feedback. If you have any ideas, and I invite that. But we're going to keep playing with your imagination and creativity so you can see exactly how powerful you are and what superpowers they are.
Blast from the Past is a spotlight on our early work. Have a laugh. The hair may be out of style, but the message is timeless.
Hiya, it's Veronica, your encouraging entrepreneur here at Shaboo Prince. And I think you'd agree that these are crazy days. I go outside and I can feel the confusion and the angst and depression and in some cases anger in people right now. I think you'd agree that we need assurances that we're going to be okay, right? I mean, I know that I do. It's, oh, hi. A fortune teller, perfect timing. Can you please tell me, what do you see in my immediate future? I'm going to be okay? I think you're right. But I need more detail. And isn't that the case? That as business owners and adults, that we have to learn to live with so much uncertainty. And how do we do that? Well, I remember as a kid when I'd feel emotionally confused, I'd go outside and sit in the grass. And in a short amount of time, I'd start to see things emerge out of the space around me, like an ant scaling a blade of grass, or the lines in the bark of a tree, and the sound of the wind in the trees above me. And all of a sudden, I'd start to hear more bird calls around me. And it would dawn on me that, wow, no matter how miserable I just felt moments ago, there was all this beauty around me. And goodness, it felt good. That no matter what was happening in my life, that there was an undercurrent of constant beauty and goodness. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Because irregardless of how challenging your life may have been, I know you have had those moments. Maybe it was when you were looking into the eyes of your favorite pet, or looking up into the vast starry night sky, when you felt that stillness. And then a knowing that there was so much beauty and goodness and for you. And I took that realization with me as an adult, and it became a part of the foundation of Shaboo Prince. That we believe that that layer exists, and we're here to help you support you access it if you want. This is a time when we have to pull out all the stops and use whatever we need to do to remind us that oh, hi again. You have something for me? Oh, well, thank you. What is this? Very nice. Nice message. Makes me feel really good. Thank you. You know what? I'm going to sit with this image more afterwards because I have a feeling this fortune teller has additional messages for me in my heart. And that's what we do. We create immersive images for you to remind you of the goodness that still exists. And I remember the details that I remember seeing as a kid, and I put them into the designs. So if you sit there long enough, depending on the image, you might see a mole, you might see how the sun hits and casts a shadow, or comes through the fur of an animal. They're meant to be immersive. So you may even consider a poster for your home or workspace to serve as a window, as a reminder of that goodness that is always there. So you know what? We're going to be okay because we're humans and we're wily creatures. We're going to figure it out. But it's also because I think this is really a good world. So, how do you feel when I ask what's ahead for you? What's next? I hope you're getting a little more enthusiastic about it, because you should. Because the more you keep coming back here to your new Odyssey and expanding your imagination and creativity, the more we play, the more you're going to realize you have a lot of power and control over your what's next and what's ahead. And if you really want something fantastic, you can have it. But it does require your imagination and then your creativity, a lot of play, a lot of fun, which is the way that it should be. So it does require more heart. It does require you using more of a new kind of intelligence. And you'd be tag teaming two kinds of intelligence, becoming more intelligent to design your what's next and what's ahead. It's all good. And so keep coming back here where we'll continue to play with our fun new exercises to explore your imagination and then expand it and play in this safe virtual sandbox that is the Shaboo Artist Studio. But until then, please don't forget to live big because there's so much ahead for you and I'm excited about your what's next. And play hard.
For program resources and more, visit shabooprints.com.